Now that you've uploaded photos to Google Photos, you probably want to do some things with them. So this video is going to show you how to create albums. You can create albums 3 different ways. One thing that you can do is click the Create button at the top. If you click on Create, a couple of your options are Album and Shared Album. I'll explain the difference between those in just a minute. Another way that you can create albums is by going over to the left-hand sidebar, selecting Albums, and then clicking Create Album. The third way is the way I use the most often, is just by selecting images in your photo stream. So all you need to do is click on the little check mark that shows up in the corner. Don't click on the picture, otherwise it will open it. And here I have 3 images selected. Now you'll notice that the top is now blue, and I have a few options here. One is to just share them, and another is to add to. I'm going to click on the plus sign, and I'm going to add them to an album. I don't have any albums made, so I'm going to click New Album. And now it created an album for me. The album right now is untitled, so I'm going to give it a name. And I can continue to add photos to my album if I would like. I can also add some text associated with this album. So if I want to say, my cool car. And you can also add locations if you want to say where particular things happened in your album. So once you're good with what is in your album, you can click the little blue check mark and you are good to go. As you look at your albums, you can always add photos and you can share them. You have a couple of other options. You can view them and download them and edit them and make a cover and so on and so forth, depending on what you want to do with that particular album. So one of the other options that you saw came up when I wanted to create an album was creating a shared album. I'm going to go back for a minute, create shared album. So again, I'm going to I'll select these 3 this time. I'm going to say create, and it created my shared album. And you can see that it has a login image because it's associating it with me, and it's that way other people can see who made it and I can see who's in it. So I'm going to click share, and then I can share with anybody that I want. I can share it further if I want to just get the link and then share the link with people so they can join in. As you create shared albums, what's really nice again is that they're logging in with their Google account so you can see who's in your album and who is allowed to edit your album. So I'm going to add in, and I shared it. And I can add a message that says, hey, look at this album. And that will send a message to that account, and they will be able to access this album, as well as add in any images that they want to add. Using shared albums, I've found is really nice if a lot of people attended the same event. They can all add in their pictures from the event so everyone can see everything. Now, earlier I made that album called Car. I'm going to go back to that album. I can share that album. If I didn't originally make it a shared album, I can still share it by clicking the share button in the top right-hand corner. And again, I can just type in any Google account names that I want and add those people and send them a message. Now I can choose because it was not originally a shared album, I can choose whether or not they can add photos or whether or not they can actually only view the photos, and that just depends on what your particular album is about. So if I click only you, this means this new person can see them, but they can't add in their own pictures. I'm going to click send, and a message has been sent to that person. If you want to change whether or not people can add in things to the album, you can always do that in your sharing options under the options for that album. So that's how to make albums and work with albums and share albums in Google Photos. wanted to add a quick addendum to my albums video for photos. What if someone shares an album with you? How do you deal with that? So I have here, I'm in my Google Photos, and I'm going to go over to my Gmail, and it appears that somebody shared an album with me. So when I open that email, it's going to show me the album, and I can view the album. When I click on that, it will open it up in Photos automatically for me. So what's cool, you can see my pseudo account name is quite silly. What's really cool is that you can now add yourself to that album. So I've joined the album, and you can see the people in that album. And this allows me to add things to the album as well, so that we can share all of the cool pictures we have of our plastic dinosaur. So that was just my quick little addendum of what happens when you share an album with someone. It's very easy to use. So again, I recommend doing it if you have family reunions and so on and so forth, since not everybody always gets the same pictures, and sometimes it's hard to have to wait for 16 people to take a picture with the same camera.